Hey guys, welcome back to Exit Corners. So last time we did chapter 24 to 25. Alright, so what happened last time? So Ink talked to, I'm assuming it's not really himself since the entity said that he's not really Ink. So we're gonna call him the entity or like the interested party as he said in his head. And yeah, so Ink acknowledged that he does indeed hear the player, which I guess in this case is himself or the entity. So the entity has a way to prod or control Ink as a feature. So the fact that he brings up the feature kind of feeds into my simulation theory, but we will have to see. And the entity says that it knows the former owner of the four elements, and that there is indeed a meta game. So that's interesting. Let's see, and the entity also confirmed that there were casualties at the O4 Elements Hotel. So there might have been a previous game of sorts, perhaps. And we got to find out more about Bev's death, and that the fact that she was not killed by a trap, in fact, she was murdered. So yeah, so that brings up my murder theory. That kind of confirms my murder theory. So our top suspects are Ray and Ether. Liza and Ink have an alibi, and Sean and Tiana has an alibi. Yeah, and the glass was from the missing painting. That was kind of what I screenshotted last time. Yeah, so um, the entity told Ink that there was a way to open doors from the outside for non-electronically locked doors. So that was the bathroom. So he opened it up and found that yeah, there was a painting, and then there was the glass pane for the painting was missing. So that was yeah where the glass came from. And yeah, so we found Liza's corner, and yeah, it confirmed that Thatcher Biometrics is being liquidated, so she doesn't really have the future that she wants anymore. And yeah, so they managed to persuade her to not kill herself, and she tossed her Gemini away. So the only people who have Geminis are, um, well, I would say useful Geminis is Ether, because Beth broke hers, and Beth is dead. Ray broke his. Um, Ink didn't break his, but his contact is Sean's, and Sean is dead. Yeah. Yes, yeah, so Sean is dead. Um, yeah, the entity also confirmed that um, Exit Corners is not used for entertainment nor experiment, so we don't really know what its purpose is, but it says that the purpose is pedestrian, whatever that means. Yeah, so the black corner was for Liza, and so that means the blue corner is either for Ink or Ether. Or it could be possibly Tiana, but I think that's unlikely since she's not really part of the original five. Yeah, so we figured out that the locked bathrooms can be opened. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I guess we'll have to find out who killed Beth. And now we're on to chapter 26, Slash. Yeah, I think there's a total of 29 chapters, so I think there should be one more video after this. Or maybe two more, depending on how long they are. Alright, skip. Are you sure? Is it not possible that this is still Sen's fault somehow? Putting aside the fact that Sen can't physically interact with us without using electronics, this is unlike anything Sen's ever done. He didn't make a big show of it. He didn't even tell us she'd been killed. And then he doesn't even mention it? That's true. Well then, could it have been someone else entirely? An eighth person? I hesitate to use the word impossible, but I find it highly unlikely that someone's been hiding from us this whole time. There's no evidence to support it. It had to have been one of us. I understand, but I don't want to believe that one of us is capable of murder. The time for wishful thinking is over. We have to look at the facts. Been suspicious of Beth's death from the start, but I never had suspected this. Yeah, this was quite the find. It does beg the question though. How did you unlock the door, Ink? Well, I can't very well admit that a voice in my head told me. What's an easy cover-up? Sen told me. He's spoken to me privately a number of times, and it turns out he dropped a few hints in there. I only pieced everything together a few moments ago. I see. Liza, who hadn't spoken a word since leaving her corner, suddenly perked up. Aside from a pair of bloodshot eyes, her bearing was back to normal. I guess all of this talk about murder jolted her out of her melancholy. Same as me, kinda. It's awful, but convenient. So one of us 5 contestants is a murderer, then? Not quite. From where I'm sitting, it could only have been one of 4 people. Oh, so you're including everyone by yourself? No, I'm including everyone except for me and you. You and I were in a stone hallway when Beth was murdered. We're the only 2 contestants with someone to vouch for them. That leaves Aether, Ray, Tiana, and Sean, technically. As far as I'm concerned, Liza, you and I are the only people who are free of suspicion. That's easy for you to say. Who's to say the 2 of you didn't conspire on this together? You've got to keep in mind that Ink was the one to find the murder weapon. If he wanted to keep us from finding out, why would he have brought it up in the first place? Unless this is all part of some crazy gambit, which I find highly unlikely. Whatever, you're all far too trusting for your own good. I want to go over what I think happened, but first, how about we head over to the next room? If this ring follows the same pattern as all the others, it ought to be a bar of some kind. This could take a while, so we should probably have a seat. Sure. Wordlessly, the contestants began to make their way through the door. Ink. So what's the plan? This is usually the part of the story where the detective rounds everyone up, goes over the facts, and names a culprit. But I'm no detective, not really. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, we should probably start by laying everything out like you said. We might be able to piece something together. Yeah, I guess that's our best call. I know you're innocent, so I'm counting on you to help me out, okay? It's not like I've got a choice. I appreciate it. Let's go then. Ink made his way into the next room. Just like he suspected, it was a tightly packed bar. Quiet, save for idle footsteps and the dull groan of the monitor. The other contestants were pacing about the room. Hey, there's a puzzle on the monitor. A puzzle, you say? Alright, puzzle time. Nah, oh, okay. Now's not the time for that. We're not going anywhere until we figure out who killed Beth. And what if we can't figure it out? We just gonna give up on escaping? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. First, let's get all of our facts straight. Right. Where was everyone when Beth was killed? I was solving a puzzle in the back wing with Sean. Right, he mentioned. Were you and Sean ever separated during that time? Not that I remember. How convenient that Sean's no longer around to corroborate your story. I mean, he did confirm it when he was alive. Whoa. Did Eva just get accusatory? Yeah, that's kinda sus. Yeah, I remember Eva accusing Ray of being suspicious too. Yeah. You're the one to talk, considering your alibi is the weakest. Finger pointing can wait until we've laid everything out. You're up next, Aether. Where were you when Beth was killed? I was searching the other rooms in that same hallway. I started with the doors on the left, got to the end of the hallway, and looped back around on the right until I entered the room with Beth's body. It's about 10 or so rooms. Obviously, you had to come back out into the hallway after searching each one. And yet you didn't see or hear anything suspicious that whole time? Nothing. Not until I saw the body anyway. Oh, though there was that earthquake when I entered the final door on the left side, but everyone must have felt that. Yeah, that earthquake was Ink's fault, by the way. Gee, thanks. That leaves me, I guess. Sure does. Where were you again? I was lying down in one of the other rooms in that same hallway, the first one on the left, actually. Was trying to rest a bit. Beth has suggested it. Thanks. So if I'm interpreting things correctly, the killer entered the hallway, ripped the painting off of the wall, went into the hotel room, and killed Beth with a single blow to the back of the head. Then they must have opened the locked door with the same trick that Ink used. They tossed the painting in there thinking no one would find it. Not that there was really anywhere else to hide it. What's more is that they have had to do that without being spotted by Aether, who was constantly in and out of the hallway. Wouldn't that have taken some crazy good timing? Not necessarily. What do you mean? If Aether had done it, she wouldn't have had to time anything. She'd have had plenty of time to kill Beth without worrying about anyone noticing. Ray. At the stammering. I always thought you were suspicious. You really think it was her? After all we've been through? Yeah. Don't let personal bias cloud your judgment. We've known her for less than a day. And you think she did it solely because she had the best opportunity? That's part of it, sure. But there's an even bigger reason I suspect Aether. She never mentioned the missing painting. The murder weapon? What about it? Yeah, what gives? I noticed the missing painting myself. We probably all did. But it didn't seem strange enough to comment on. This hotel's got smoke-filled bars and rooms with huge cracks in the walls. I didn't think a missing painting was that out of place. True, but you've got to remember that there were two people who had seen the painting on the wall before it had been ripped off. Beth herself and Aether. So why didn't you mention that the painting was missing when we were going over Beth's murder? Honestly, I didn't notice. It's not like I spent a whole lot of time looking at the thing. Heck, I didn't even notice it had a glass cover until after Ink found it in the washroom. That's a weak excuse and you know it. My brain didn't even register that it was missing until Ink found it again. I can be a little scatterbrained sometimes, but I'm not a murderer. Ugh, was it an honest mistake, or was it really her? Besides, wouldn't you have seen the painting too? You were also in the hallway before the painting had been torn off. I had been in the hallway before, sure, but only while I was having one of those bleeding attacks. I wasn't exactly able to take in my surroundings. That's fair. Yeah, I remember that. Beth guided you into that hall and then presumably into one of the hotel rooms. Exactly. So the only person who might have noticed that the picture was missing is Aether. That is pretty fishy. Also, for what it's worth, I don't think Tiana would do something like this. Unlike Aether, I know Tiana pretty well. She ain't a good person, but I don't think she killed someone. That leaves Aether as the only possibility. What do you have to say about that, Aether? I can't understand why Ray thinks I did it, and I think it's mature of him to look past his grievances of Tiana and decry her innocence. Which is too bad, because I know Tiana's lying. Whoa, okay. What? You said that you and Sean never split up, but I'm not buying it. Like I said before, he's no longer around to back you up. When we asked him, he said you were solving the puzzle together, not that you never split up. You were the one who added that bit. I'm sure it would have been easy to excuse yourself for a moment. You're pulling at straws. Even if I did split up for Sean, which I didn't by the way, that means I only had what? 4 minutes to run over to the Blue Wing and murder someone? Hypothetically, if Sean and I had been separated for more than a few minutes, he certainly would have mentioned it. Am I wrong? While it's true that you only had a few minutes to carry out that murder, that's exactly why I think it was you. Huh? What are you getting at? Ugh, this is out to be rich. The weapon was hidden by someone who was in a hurry. Even if the weapon was hidden by someone who knew the trick about the locks, it was still hidden right next to the body itself. If I, or even Ray, were responsible, we have had the time to hide the weapon in a more secure location, such as one of the other washrooms in that hall, or somewhere in the study, anywhere else, really. It was still behind a locked door. Maybe they thought it'd be fine? It's still just one measly mechanical lock. Don't forget that we have someone here who can pick locks. What's more was that there was zero attempt to clean up the crime scene in any way. I think it's a clear sign that the culprit was short on time. You're delusional. This is all just conjecture based on the assumption that Sean and I split up at some point, but we didn't. You say that, but I've got a strong hunch that the two of you split up briefly. A hunch? That's it? This is a joke. You know what I'm talking about, right, Ink? She's obviously referring to her clairvoyance, but can that power of hers be trusted? Can she be trusted? Besides, she and Sean both appear later than the rest of us. Don't tell me that's not super suspicious. They were in a different wing. Are you seriously going to believe a mere hunch, Ink? I haven't decided yet. If you let her pull the wool over your eyes, things aren't going to end well for any of us. I take it you think Aether's the culprit? Oh no. She may have a few screws loose, but she's too weak to have killed anyone, both physically and mentally. Besides, I know for a fact that Ray was the one to murder Beth. Bruh, he vouched for you and you're blaming him. Okay. The fuck? You're gonna up and accuse me after I vouch for you? Happily. Like you said, we've known each other for a long time. I know full well of what you're capable of. What makes you think that Ray did it? Oh. First of all, he was in a great position to run into Beth's room and kill her. He claims he was resting, but nobody knows what he was really up to in that room. He could have easily been listening through the door, waiting for Aether to leave the hall so that he could make his move. His room, the room where Beth was found, and the painting were all relatively close to one another. It had been no problem, even for someone with a missing arm. You seriously think I killed Beth after she saved my life? Yeah, that's a very weak motive. Oh, I have no idea why you did it. But you've killed before. You have it in you to do it again. Wait, what? Not people, not on purpose. What then? What did you do, Ray? I... I... He'll never tell you, but I will. Tiana, don't. Tiana paused, casting a forlorn gaze in Ray's direction. I'm not letting you walk twice. She turned back to Ink and continued, seemingly unperturbed. I'm not sure what he told you about his past, Ink, but I'm sure he was happy to admit his arson streak. Arson? For real? It's the reason we broke up. The real reason. Ray was looking to approach a committee called the Belbridge University Sponsorship Council to fund an algorithm he was working on. RN, an advanced search algorithm or something along those lines. That's the one. But Ray was hesitant to part with his precious algorithm. The council was run by a handful of professors, but he didn't want to share RN with just anyone. So he did some digging. Could he trust these people? They were garbage, nearly all of them. Extortion, bigotry, embezzlement. It made me sick. Yeah, but instead of reporting them to the police like a normal person, you had to go all vigilante and burn their fucking property down. Was this some warped sense of justice, or did you just want to bring successful people down to your level? Is this true, Ray? What Tiana's saying? Yes. I torched 3 buildings, almost 4. 2 of them were their homes. One was that bookstore you liked. That was you? The owner took advantage of a few of his students. That's all I'm gonna say. Ooh. Jeez, I had no idea he was even on that council. My father was on that council too. Were you the... Yeah, that was me. I was in the house that night. I could have died. I didn't think. I didn't know. I figured if anyone was inside, they'd be able to make it out without any issues. It was a big house, tons of windows. I was blind. I didn't know that, obviously. If someone hadn't tipped off our security, we wouldn't have had the extra personnel to chase you off. You could have killed me. I'm sorry. It was a mistake. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted to drive those people out of the council, to give them enough other stuff to deal with that they dropped out. Bullshit. You said you wanted to cure them of their materialism. How sick in the head do you have to be to say something like that? Hold on a sec. He told you about his arson spree? No, but he was spending a few nights out suspiciously late, so I decided to do a little digging of my own. I thought he'd been cheating on me. I never would have imagined the truth to be so much worse. As if destroying someone's home wasn't rotten enough, he was even heartless enough to kill. So it's true then. You ended up killing someone? It ain't like that. I always make sure that no one will get hurt, but... Pets weren't part of that equation. Oh. It was after his fur fire that I was able to piece everything together. The years we spent together no longer mattered. I knew I had to make him pay for what he'd done. But for all your posturing, you didn't go to the cops either. You did the pettiest thing possible and took RM from me. I may not have gone to the police, but I did have the foresight to tip off the Thatcher residents and prevent any more damage. But, like, why didn't you go to the police? Prison wasn't good enough. I wanted him to feel the loss that he inflicted upon those men and women. I wanted him to feel as betrayed as I did. Oh, and that's why he couldn't prove that Arno was his. You'd have just ratted him out to the police if he'd spoken out against you. And vice versa. He'd have spilled the beans about your plagiarism if you later approached the police. You had knives at each other's throats. I never had imagined any of this. You both seem so normal, I guess. This is what happens when you deal with Ray. He's a sociopath who brings out the worst in people. No one else here could kill someone and act so normal afterward. If this doesn't convince you that Ray is responsible for Beth's death, I don't know what will. I'm not the man I was all those years ago. Beth was a good person. I didn't kill her. Then who did? I stepped by what I said. It had to have been either. Leave me out of this, I'm telling you. It was Tiana. Okay. So, yeah, I don't think Ray did it, and Tiana has an alibi. So, yeah, it's either. I go over Ray's irrational criminal history, and you still don't believe me? Ugh, everyone, just shut up for a second. I can't concentrate with everyone yelling at me. Yes, of course. So everyone's given their side of the story. But who did it? Who do I believe? Ink, can we set aside for a moment? What about the others? We aren't going to kill each other while you're off talking in the corner, if that's what you were worried about. Fine. I don't know how long we'll be, so you might as well get comfy. I'd rather not. With that, Tiana retreated to the corner of the room, putting her back to the far wall. So what do you think? I don't think there are significant enough holes in any of their stories to name a culprit. None that I've noticed anyway. No, you're right. I don't think we've got an airtight case against any of them. Do you have any outstanding thoughts on any of the three specifically? Tiana strikes me as the most enigmatic of the three. I was starting to like her, but I ultimately don't know very much about her. Everything she says sounds sensible, but I don't know. Something about her still doesn't feel quite right. Yeah. What's weird to me is that she thinks that Ray is the culprit and not Ether. If you look at the facts, Ether is definitely the most suspicious of the three. But rather than hard facts, Tiana's accusation is based on character. Do you think she's blinded by revenge? I'll ignore that comment for now. Anyway, blinded by revenge. Anyway, when there aren't enough facts to go off of, I don't think it's unreasonable to accuse someone based on past experiences. Maybe. Evidence is still king, though. Man, I still can't believe that Ray burned down Belbridge Brooks. You think that's bad? I just learned that Ray nearly killed me a few years ago. I thought I trusted him, but I'm not so sure anymore. Why would he want to kill Beth, though? It doesn't make any sense. Why would any of them want to kill Beth? I don't think motive is something we'll be able to figure out right now. We'll have to focus on means and opportunity instead. Speaking of which, I know. Eva had the best opportunity. She had the biggest window to carry out the crime. I really don't want it to be her. Me neither. If it wasn't Eva, the culprit would had to be really quick or really lucky to sneak into Beth's room undetected. Well, maybe they had some help. If the murderer somehow knew that the earthquake was coming, they could have planned around it. That's a big if. Is it? The earthquake staggered us, but we didn't even fall down, you know. If someone had known it was going to happen, I bet they could have moved between rooms while it was going off. Even if that is true, how do we prove that someone knew about the earthquake? I don't know, okay? I'm just trying to help. I'm trying to look at this from every angle, cover every possibility. Chill, I'm not trying to attack your theories, specifically. Playing devil's advocate helps me think through things. I'm aware that I can't afford to dismiss everything. There's too much in line. You mean on the line? Uh, Listen, it's been a long day. He sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose as if it would suddenly spur him awake. It did not. So what else have you got? Is there anything else you think I'm overlooking? There's one thing, yeah. I hate to bring this up, but we can't leave Sean out of the equation. It could have been him too. I know. At the same time, even if it was him, there's not much we can do about it. He'd have had the same alibi as Tiana, plus he went and sacrificed himself shortly after. Is it just me, or did Beth seem a little suspicious of him? Sean, that is. I think you're imagining things, though. I think she knew someone was going to come after her. He reached into his jacket pocket and ran his fingers across Beth's letter, if only to make sure it was still there. At the very least, she suspected it. Then why didn't she say anything about it? I don't know. But I trust Beth. If she knew something, I bet there was a great reason for not sharing it with us. I hope you're right. The room quieted down as the contestants chewed on their thoughts. We've gone over so many details, but I don't feel like we've made any actual progress towards finding the killer. Why does it feel like we're going in circles? And why is my heart beating so quickly? Ugh, I'm never going to solve it at this rate. So, I never asked. Now that we've gone over everything, do you think you know who it was? I think it's Ether. It was Ether. That's what I think, anyway. Nobody asked you, be quiet. Shaking his head in an attempt to drive me out. He refocused on the person in front of him. No, sorry. I don't know who did it. I can't even narrow it down to two people. Are they working for Sen? Is Sen working for them? I have no idea. I'm at a loss for what to do. We just don't have enough evidence. That's never stopped you before, though. You didn't have any concrete evidence when you first discovered that Sen was speaking to us in real time. Yeah, but that wasn't real detective work. Just a cheeky trick. Who's to say you can't do something like that again? Aside from possibly the culprit themselves, you know more about exit corners than anyone here. Maybe you can leverage that knowledge and trick the murderer into revealing something. Knowing more than anyone else is hardly an accomplishment. I mean, look at all the good it's done us. All we've ever done is delay the inevitable. Face it, Liza. I'm useless. Oh, don't give me that crap. I may not like you, but I know you can do this. She grabbed him by the collar and stuck her face not an inch away from his own. You've got nearly 24 hours worth of events to rummage through. You've got your Gemini. You've got me. Stop being so mopey. I'm not letting you just give up. It was a strangely invigorating gesture. It was as if she were lending him some of her gift. Right. You're right. She finally let him go when she could see his panic dissipate. All I need is one thing. One good lead. That's it. His brain running on fumes, he closed his eyes and reached through his memory. He had to try. He thought back on his time in the Four Elements, on the 5 original contestants, the 2 new ones, and the cybernetic mastermind behind it all. He thought back on the puzzles, on the trials and traps that stood in his way and the negative space required to overcome them. He fought back on his Gemini, on the messages Sean sent him and the ones sent him. Sent. Wait a sec. Ink fumbled for his Gemini, nearly dropping it in the process. He scrolled through his message history until he found what he was looking for. It was as he remembered, the tiniest of hints, but a hint nonetheless. Hey, Liza. You think of something? You still have pen and paper in that bag of yours, right? Yep. Some envelopes and flashcards too. But what's it for? I'll need 3 pens and 3 flashcards. We're going all in. Busting out the poker terms, are we? This must be the real deal. Liza fished out the goods in seconds. Ian grabbed them from her as he made his way to the center of the room. Hey, everyone. We're done talking. Come on over to the bar. Ray, who was really only a few paces away from Ink, pivoted in his chair to face him. So, did you figure out who it was? Something like that. I need everyone to grab one of these and one of these. The other two reached Ink just as he was handing out the flashcards and pens. What are these for? It's time for a pop quiz. I don't feel comfortable doing this. This is so clearly meant to deceive us somehow. If you're innocent, you've got nothing to worry about. Suddenly silent, Tiana gripped the items out of Ink's outstretched hand. Everyone good? I'm going to have you all write something for me. Hang on, I'm not going to be able to write with only my left hand. I can't even hold the paper down. Liza, can you hold the flashcard still for Ray? Oh, fine. Will that help, Ray? A little. Just don't expect it to be super legible. That'll be fine. Okay, everyone got a spot at the bar? Good. To start, can you each write your name at the top left of the card? Full name? Yeah, full name. Next, in the top right of the card, I'd like you to write today's date. You mean no talking, just write it out. Nodding meekly, Eva returned to her sheet. Next, below your name, I want you to write out the following question. How many contestants are playing exit corners? Come on, man, I'm having enough trouble writing things down as it is. Do I have to write out that entire thing? Sorry, you need to write the question out in full. How many contestants are playing exit corners? Ugh. Quit your whining, it's just a few words. We're almost done, I promise. Finally, well, you probably guessed it. Just answer the question. Print the number below the question itself. Ink waited a moment for the group to write their answers and put their pens down. Done. Me too. Same. Don't say I didn't warn you. That's it then. Hand me your papers. Ink took their flashcards and set them down on a nearby table. March 21st, 2019. March. Oh, AETHER? Why is it March 21st? Tiana Tran, that's her last name. AETHER Irving. Interesting. 7. How many contestants? 5. 6? I mean, that's, yeah, as of right now, because 2 died. Huh. That is really odd. So, I was right. Ink took another moment to scan the cards. I didn't expect them to be so different from one another. Did you find what you were looking for? I think I did. There's one key detail here that suggests to me that one of you knows more than you're letting on. What about you, huh? Did you figure it out? I had gotten so wrapped up in what was going on that it took me a moment to realize that Ink had directed that last question at me. I know you're there. Humor me, will you? Do you know what I was referring to? What element stands out as suspicious? I mean, their answers are suspicious, but their dates are suspicious too. I think their dates. March 20th is a reasonable guess. Ray and Tiana both remember that it's been over 20 hours since the exit corner started. However, Eva believes it's the 21st instead. I was wondering about that. Eva could be right or wrong. I'll have to ask her about that later. That being said, the date doesn't actually help us. It could be the 20th or the 21st, or some other day entirely, but there's no way for me to verify that. I mean, yeah, that's true. No, I had another element in mind. Ink turned to his fellow contestants. First of all, thanks for cooperating. I don't like having to boss people around. So what was with the questionnaire? How many contestants are playing exit corners? Were you counting Beth? Sean? Oh, that's irrelevant. As some of you might have already guessed, the answer isn't important here. Most of what I had you write served as a distraction. Your names Interesting, maybe, but I don't have any way to verify that you're telling the truth. The date? I see two different answers here, so at least one of you is wrong. But I don't care that you've gotten something wrong. What bothers me is what you've gotten right. So tell me, Tiana, how did you know there was a slash in the exit corners? That is true. That's the name of the game, of course. Thing is, we've only ever heard the name. We've never seen it written. We've only ever said exit corners amongst ourselves, not exit or corners, or exit slash corners. The only way you've had known there was a slash in the name is if you've seen it written. Well, how do you know there's a slash? Ink flashes Gemini in Tiana's direction. A little bird told me. Did you kill Beth? I knew Sen had been a bad idea. So you are part of this. Are you fucking serious? This is what I get for putting my faith in you? I'm not letting you get away with this. Everyone, get ready to grab her. We'll need to tie her up with something. Not sure what, but let's get her pinned. Ink took a cautious step towards her, the others following suit. Oh, Ink. I'd like to see you try. With a burst of energy that surprised even him, Ink leapt at Tiana, arms outstretched in front of her. Fast though he was, Tiana was faster still, and she was off in full sprint before Ink even got close. Between the bar's fixtures and the other contestants, she was relatively boxed in. Rather than outmaneuver the others, she opted to charge at full speed, directly towards AETHER. AETHER went for a grab at Tiana got close, but with a last-minute swivel to the left, Tiana nimbly avoided her grasp. As she pirouette? I'm not really sure how to pronounce that word. Pirouetted around AETHER's lunge. She fished for something that had been tucked into her corset. Wait, Tiana's not just avoiding her, she's... No. It was over before it began. Wow. Nobody fucking move. Tiana gripped the shard of glass so tightly that it was slicing her own hand. She seemed unfazed by it. Damn it, she must have pocketed that from the scene of the crime. Let her go, or what? You've got no leverage here. Listen well, AETHER will be coming with me. I prefer her alive, but I'll cart her corpse around if I have to. Ink! Hang on, AETHER, we'll think of something. No, you will not. You're going to do as I say, or I will hurt her. Always a sweet talker, huh? What are your demands? You're going to lead the Four Elements Hotel. That's what we were this close to finishing the game, but you all had to keep derailing it in the most aggravating ways possible. So you know what? This game is over. Sant. Yes? Of course he's watching. He's always watching. We're going to open the exit. They don't need the key cards anymore. Just let them leave. Of course. So he takes orders from you, huh? You're a fool if you think I'm going to stand here and answer your questions. Everyone, please escape while you still can. Shut your mouth and stop squirming so much. Come, we're leaving. Let's take a look at that head of yours. Sen, unlock this door for us. As you wish. And with that, they were gone, retreating deeper into the Labyrinth Hotel. Okay, I mean, I guess we can just leave? I mean, it sucks for AETHER, but if we can get out, then I'm taking my out. After 27. Gauntlet. Yeah, I feel like it's not that easy. We can just leave. Because Ink has to go save AETHER somehow. Is it over then? She's just letting us go? That's what it sounds like, yeah. The contestants should have been relieved. The exit had been opened, their lives spared, but an aura of defeat permeated the already gloomy room. I can't believe Tiana's part of this. Didn't think I'd get burned a second time, you know? I know, that sucks, Ray. In an act that surprised all three of them, Liza put her hand on Ray's shoulder. She was so much shorter than he was that it looked a little silly, but he seemed to appreciate the gesture. But why did she take AETHER? What's so special about that girl? Tiana mentioned taking a look at her head. I hope they meant it figuratively. She's clairvoyant, that's why. Clairvoyant? Like a fortune teller? Sort of. I don't think she can tell the future, but she knows things without having learned them. That's what her hunch was, back there. She knew that Tiana and Sean split up for a short while, but didn't have any physical proof. Damn it all, I should have listened to her from the start. Slow down. You're talking about psychic powers here. That's pseudoscience 101. I mean, how's that even possible? I don't know, but I've seen enough that I'm convinced it's real. Guess I ain't gonna question it at this point. How do you know all this anyway? Eva told me in confidence. She said that her powers were acting up more than usual today. Something bigger is afoot here. Something just out of our reach. Ink looked to the monitor in the corner of the room. Do either of you know how much time we have left before the four elements collapses? Nah, but if I had to guess, less than 2 hours probably. I see. I'm going after her. What? Are you crazy? Thought you might. Fine then, I'm coming with you. What? Hell no. Ray, don't be stupid. You need to get to a hospital. Yeah, that's true. Who knows where we even are, though? There might not be a hospital around for miles. But there might be one right outside this building. I like Ether too, but come on. You've got to look out for yourself. I ain't doing this for Ether. I need to know why. Why Tiana's involved with all of this. Why she killed Beth. Ever since our breakup, I've been championing the idea that people couldn't be understood, couldn't be solved, and I still stand by that, but Tiana's gone so far off the rails it's scaring me. The woman I knew would never kill someone or even threaten them with violence. If I don't find out what happened to her, it'll eat away at me forever. Even if I'll never fully understand her, I need to at least make an effort to understand her better than I did before. Besides, I couldn't just leave Ink hanging. Right, Ink? Ray. Thank you. Unbelievable. You're both insane, you know that? Less than 2 hours ago, I was being chastised by my fellow contestants for trying to sacrifice myself. Now 2 of them are going to go ahead and throw their lives away, just like that? Liza, spare me, it's your funeral. Come on, Liza. I don't want to end things on a bad note. Too late. You're already acting like we won't ever see each other again. And I guess you're right. I'll never see either of you again, strictly speaking. But I don't care. I choose survival. Goodbye. That could have gone better. She's tough. She'll be fine. Maybe it's better that someone goes and calls for help anyway. That's true. Yeah, she should go call for help. Oh, and by the way, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate it. I know you have your own reasons for tagging along with me, but I'm glad you've got my back. I would have come if I didn't trust you. It'll be dangerous, but I know that if you're around, still got a chance to win this game. Exactly. We can do it if we work together. So we've got to grab Ether, get the answers we need, and make it out in one piece. Sounds about right. Thankfully, at a glance, it looks like the puzzles are still online. See? Ink motioned to the monitor anchored to the barroom wall. Sure enough, the puzzle from earlier was still on screen. Good. I'm not sure how much of the game we have left, but at least we've got an obvious way forward. Think Ether will be okay till we get here? Till we get there? I can only hope. Ink sighed. I wish I put more faith in her. If only I'd been less suspicious of her. I could have kept her safe on Tiana. Don't beat yourself up about it. Tiana's real proficient. She might have nabbed her anyway. Anyway, let's move. We don't have much time. Right, let's solve some puzzles. Right, puzzle time, for real. Hang in there, Ether. Match edges. Okay, yeah, we can do this. You can skip puzzle? Really? Alright, there we go. Also, the music is really nice for this, like, chapter. I think I just heard the door. Yeah, looks like it still works. Come on, let's keep moving. Looks like this one's online too. Guess Tiana's didn't care to turn any of these off. Bet she thought we couldn't tell. Anyway, next puzzle ought to be up your alley. Let's get on it. Alright, because it's just a bunch of puzzles. Decipher. Heed the pale door. Okay. Pale door. Could have been worse. You remember what's coming up next, right? Yeah, a corner, probably. This is the way they went, though. And I didn't see anywhere else they could have gone, so they must have made it through there, somehow. I'll go first. Thanks. Taking a deep breath, Ian cracked the door open and pushed on. What? Is it safe? Yeah, it's safe. This doesn't look like a corner at all. Yeah, considering there's a door on the other end. It's kinda eerie though. The other doors don't look openable. Looks like only one of these is online right now. The rest are blank. We might have to do them in order. No way to know until we try. No tiles of the same color may touch. Diagonals count as touching. Okay. Oh, hey, are you feeling tired all of a sudden? I've been feeling tired all day, more so after my, accident. You doing okay? Mostly. I'm pretty drained. Might be my nerves. I'll tell you to rest, but really don't have time. Yeah, let's just call it keep on trucking. By the way, one of the other monitors have a puzzle on it now. Looks like we've got to do all of them. Come on then. Just a little more. Repeat the pattern. Leave no tiles empty. These puzzles are all starting to look so samey. Tell me about it. Next, next one's this way, it looks like. Suppressing a cough of coughs, you can follow his friend over to the next monitor. Can't stop now. Almost there. Turn 3 circles into 1 square. He braced himself against the wall as he let out a few stray wheezes. Ray grabbed his shoulder. Shit, you don't sound so great. I'll be okay. Thanks though. Good news is that there's only one more puzzle. Is there bad news? Yeah, I'm not sure if it's actually a puzzle. Ink looked at the final monitor himself. Enter password? How are we supposed to figure that out? Couldn't it be like anything? I get it now. This is probably why Tiana didn't care if we followed her. She knew we'd get stuck here even if we solved all of the other puzzles. Fuck that noise. We'll just have to try whatever we can think of. I'm not giving up just yet. I mean, he says heed the pale door, so could it be heed? Okay. There's just give up or skip puzzle. There's just password. No. Is it 379? Oh my god. Okay. I think Eve, yeah, that's what Eva said like before. 379. I still don't know what it means, but somehow I knew that was the answer. I mean, what else could it have been? Huh? What just happened? I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure. It's open at least. Do we just go in? Something doesn't feel right. That's what we said we do. I'll go in first, but, you know, be careful in there. Yeah, you too. It's time. Let's enter. Oh, what is this place? Are those pots? Like, what? Kiana stood near the desk at the far corner of the room. How'd you get in here? Damn it, Sen told you the password, didn't he? Of course not. Did you really think I wouldn't have figured it out? 379, of all things. 379? That's not the password. What are you talking about? Whatever. It doesn't matter now. Ink, Ray. Eva was sitting awkwardly on one of the machines at the back. Whatever they were, their standard design made them poor benches. She stood up as soon as she noticed Ink. I thought I told you to escape. I'm not leaving. Not without you. And not without answers. Ray, don't tell me you... Ugh, not now. Tiana lurched forward, just narrowly catching herself before she crashed into her computers. The hand over her mouth did nothing to stop the deluge of blood that came forth. Aether, now's your chance. Run here. Okay. The few seconds that it took Aether to sprint the length of the room seemed to stretch on forever. Ink was waiting for something catastrophic to occur as she bolted past the bleeding Tiana. But nothing happened. Eva reached his outstretched arms with no problems. Are you okay? She looks fine to me. Yeah, I'm unharmed. Sent. Tiana's voice came booming from the back of the room. Lock the goddamn door already. That's an order. Yes, of course. Ink's heart sank as he heard the door behind him snap closed. Tiana, having seemingly recovered in seconds, approached the pair with a confident stride. Ink turned to face her. Let us go. I don't think so. Rather than finish crossing the hallway, Tiana took a seat on one of the bedside stools. We're going to wait here, all of us. You sure that's what you want? How much time do we have until the hotel collapses? An hour? 2 at most? Tough break. We're waiting. Fine by me. We have some catching up to do. First off, mind telling us what this place is? And why you brought Ether here? Yeah, where are we? Some kind of laboratory? Or is this a corner too? Neither. This is just our headquarters. It's not actually part of the game. At least, it wasn't supposed to be. You contestants seem to have a habit of veering off course. So are you the person in charge or whatever? Sounds like you have some kind of plan. Wouldn't you like to know? These people deserve to know who ruined their lives. Oh, is that right? The people whose homes you destroyed never found out it was you. How is this any different than you getting off scot-free? What I did was wrong, but I got what I deserved 4 times over. I lost RM, my friends, my arm, and you. It's too late to patch things up between us, but it's not too late to atone for what you've done, and that starts with telling us the truth behind why we're here. You've matured a lot, you know. This ain't even about me. You owe the truth to everyone. The truth, huh? This whole operation is coming undone as we speak, so fine, I'll tell you. I'm not the one in charge. Neither is Sent. He's just a game master. But you had something to do with his creation, right? If he's an AI, he'd have needed someone to code him, right? That's right. Though I didn't do any of his design. I was in charge of his implementation. Just how many people are involved with this game? Shockingly few, given the circumstances. My father is one of them, isn't he? Wait, what? When Tiana was bringing me here, she said we were going to meet up with my father. The whole father thing is just gross. But yes, he's involved. That's why we're all waiting here, actually. He's bound to arrive any minute. Ever's father. I don't even know his name, but everything I've heard about him paints him as an awful man. Should I really be surprised that he's involved? Speak of the devil. Go ahead and unlock the door, Sent. Voila. Ink turned towards the door, eyes narrowed and ready for anything. Or so he thought. What? Sean? Guess I've got some explaining to do, huh? Bruh. Okay, yeah, I knew Sean was... Yeah. But is this why I wasn't sad that Sean died? Okay. Guess well... But yeah, that was 28/7, so I guess it's time to stop for now. But I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Please hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and I'll be back with the, I guess, finale, chapter 28 and 29. Bye!